The majority of people think that love bombing is just a really affectionate sign of attention. However, it is just a tiny part of it, and there is a whole big layer to it. So, I'm going to talk about 7 signs that indicate you were love bombed, and the fourth one is the one I find the most despicable. I'm Darina and I'm doing my psychology postgrad in Australia. Let's get started. Firstly, I want to remind you that the classic definition of love bombing is an abuse tactic used to lure or keep someone in a relationship. As you guys can see, it has nothing to do with love. It is just a tactic a person uses because it pushes the most sensitive buttons of our psyche and makes us fall in love with wrong people. And the first sign of love bombing is the most obvious one, and it is the intense declaration of love. Feeling loved is something most of us crave, but love bombing takes love to another level. In a healthy relationship, things develop gradually, and people first have an interest, then they like someone, and then develop this romantic love. Sometimes it can take months or even years to genuinely love someone. In love bombing, this happens immediately. First date, second date, and so on. The love bomber may remind you of their love in every conversation or constantly post about it on social media. They'll tell you phrases like, "I could never live without you. You are someone I have been looking for the past 20 years. You mean more to me than my family," and so on. I'll repeat again, if you guys have been in a relationship for a long time, you can definitely have this deep feeling of attachment, and your wife or your husband can eventually mean more than your parents. But when you hear it on the second date, think about what could possibly be happening in a person's head if they say this. Sign number 2, you've been love bombed. They're saying all the right things. For example, you say, "My dream is to go to Latin America and live there for a year." And they're like, "Oh my god, me too." Or you say, "I want to have 5 children." They will be telling you that having a big family is their dream also. Funny enough, this fact is pretty easy to check. I mean, it is easy to check if they are telling the truth or love bombing you. Just change your statements. If you say, "You know, kids are not something I'm certain about," I can guarantee you they will change their statements also, saying, "Yeah, you must be right, probably 1 maximum." The not very smart love bomber will completely copy you, and the smarter one will alter their statement to fit yours as closely as possible. Why does this trick works? Because psychology suggests that people like alike people. Everyone wants to find the one, the soulmate, someone who gets it, and this is what they are trying to project. We are alike, we are perfect for each other, this is fatum, destiny, higher calling, and so on. Sign number 3, you being love bombed. They use pressure to make you commit early. It's only been a few days, but they're ready to make things official. Maybe it's been a few months and they're suddenly ready for marriage. The idea of commitment may seem exciting, but part of you has to question if things are moving too fast. I know every one of us has a story about how a friend of a friend met someone and they lived together after first date, married after a week, and lived happily ever after. I also know a story like that about people getting married after 3 days, but here is the thing. Is this actually a happy marriage? Which we don't know. And if things happen that quick and lead to something good, it is rather an exclusion than a rule. Because the main reason to move things forward is that narcissists, psychopaths, and manipulators want you in fast, so they can finally relax and show their real face or start controlling you. But the main reason love bombers frequently use this tactic to ensure that their partner won't leave. And now think for a second, why would they be afraid you can leave if they have been such an amazing partner? Or maybe there is something more to it. Now let's move to the most ugly sign of love bombing, in my opinion. But before we do so, I want to ask you to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. It really will help me to develop this channel, and even emotionally your support motivates me to keep going and record more useful content for you guys. So sign number 4 of love bombing is dumping their personal details too quickly. A love bomber may dump all their childhood trauma on the second date. You know everyone who has ever heard them, and you've learned their entire medical and psychiatric history. But why is this one more dangerous than pushing for commitment, for example? Because it plays on the most vulnerable strings of our soul. It plays on our empathy and it activates this feeling. How can I leave or betray a person who opened up for me and trusted me with their deepest secrets? But in fact, a person who loves sharing private information very quickly just knows that this helps to establish empathy and closeness. They want you to think they see you as unique and private to their secret world. And you tell me, who doesn't want to feel unique? In a nutshell, they want it to seem that you two are more connected than you really are. And consequently, another red flag of love bombing, they want to know everything about you right away. Love bombers are incredibly interested in their partners. However, they often use sensitive information as a means of exploitation and manipulation later in the relationship. In other words, they may use what you say to control you, harm you, or damage your reputation. That's why, again, always remember that things have to happen gradually. Because of that, you can stop the process at any stage when something doesn't seem right. And sign number 6 that you have been love bombed is that they are excessively following your whereabouts. They are always going to be asking where you are, when you will be home, and who you are with, and so on. Of course, they're going to wrap it in a story about how they just worry for you, but this one is actually a really dangerous red flag. They just got into your life and straight away started to play a personal spy. Thanks, we didn't order that. And red flag number 7 of love bombing is intense jealousy when you are with anyone else. There is healthy level of jealousy, for sure. We all as humans tend to get jealous, but when a person you barely know starts throwing you tantrums when you spend your time with family, friends, or even work colleagues, but not with them, this has to make you very cautious. Similarly to when controlling your whereabouts, they will wrap it in saying they worry for you or that they love you so much that they don't want to spend a moment without you. But guys, remember that true love assumes them being happy when you are happy and feeling good when you feel good, but not making someone a hostage. Additionally, you have to remember that any behavior will escalate, as at the beginning of a relationship, people tend to control themselves more than later. So if now it is just annoying calls or intrusive messages, later it will be full-on scenes, phone tracking, or even worse, depending on their level of mental stability. Love bombing is usually followed by ghosting. So if you want to know more about it and hear my story about how I was ghosted by a narcissist, please hit here to watch the next video. Look after yourself and your loved ones, and I will see you in next videos.